everybody. Can you see me? Can you see me, hear me? Yay! Awesome. Oh, I see you. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Lasasha. Penelope. Anybody who's watching this on the replay, I'm a little bit early. So if you want to skip through the hi, everybody's to the part, I just want to make sure that the tech was working and everybody can see and hear me well. Okay, you guys, go ahead and tell me where you are and what you're writing. Oh, Lori Boo. And what you're writing and where you are calling in from or listening in from. Go ahead and put that in the chat. So excited to be here with you guys. So much fun. So much fun. I'm making you full screen. Lasasha. Oh my gosh. Lasasha is working on her 10-book paranormal romance series. Lasasha, I have a question for you. Did it start out fewer books and now it's more? Whisperings at Forestwood. I know where you're at, Lori. I know where you at. Oh, so exciting. Garnell in the Bahamas. Ooh. Hopefully doing a series soon in paranormal romance. Nice. So fun. Yeah, you guys, Lori just had a great idea. And I was telling somebody this, encouraging them to show up. I said, coming to these webinars or these trainings is a great way to meet other authors who are doing things like you, because usually you get the same question. And so it's a great place to meet other people who are doing something similar and who are on fire about it because they're here at a training. So I definitely recommend chatting it up with other people while the training is going. So I'm going to wait just one more minute to see if a couple other people show up, and then we will get going. Who else is here? Love to collab. I love the lingo. I love collab. Me too. I am in Idaho. Idaho. My hubby's out mowing the lawn, so I closed all the windows. Oh my gosh, you guys are so adorable. You make me happy. Okay, so let's get started. So that way we're not taking so that we're right on time with people to get going. Okay, so you guys, today we are doing the done in 3 months, talking about done in 3 months and this whole concept of done in 3 months. And I am so glad to have you here and so glad to chat about this. So let's get going. Okay, so let's first kind of talk about who you are and what you'll get. So I wonder if I can move my face. Okay, nope, sorry you guys. My face is over my text. Hopefully only on this one shot. Okay, who you are and what you'll get. You've many of you. Tell me if this sounds like you. Put it in the chat. You've always wanted to be a writer, and you've written on and off for most of your life. Like you were like, I want to be a writer when I grow up. And you kind of did a little bit of that on and off. And then now that indie publishing is a thing and it looks kind of legitimate, you want to see if you can make it work for you. Is that anybody in here? Because a lot of people that I talk to, and you guys, I talk to quite a few people about this. That's kind of a little bit of their, like the general basis of their story. And what you're going to get through this training is the scoop on how some authors are able to quit their jobs and write full time. And we're going to talk about what you actually have to do to create your dream writing life for yourself. Oh, Deborah Lynn's like, yes, even though marketing is such a nightmare, it's still a dream though. The dream and the nightmare. I see. I got that, Deborah Lynn. Okay, who am I and who am I? I am Ella Barnard, and maybe some of you guys know me from the Author Like a Boss Facebook group. Maybe you've heard me on the Author Like a Boss podcast, and I am also the owner of the Author Boss Academy. So I spend a little bit of time around author bosses. Okay. I am an avid reader and have been reading for my entire life. It was my escape for a long time, and it's my way of educating myself and being a fully formed and educated person. I am obsessed with creative people achieving their dreams and having fun while they do it. So, which means I spend a lot of time helping writers in these settings of author boss. And for the fun part, I actually end up making quite a few jokes. And whether they're good or not, people do tend to giggle a little bit at them, even when they're really bad. But because we love each other, we'll still kind of laugh a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it. So, the number one strategy of successful indie authors is to write books that their people love and release them quickly. Okay, so that's it. That's the whole strategy, which that's it. Done. That's all you got to do. No big deal. No, we're going to deep dive into this a little bit more. I'm not going to leave you just there. Okay, so let's talk about it. Now, first, you guys, you may talk to some people, and I'm not going to say anything bad about people, but I love Amazon. And I guess I'm a big picture person, because I'm like, Amazon has made it possible for people like you to not have to go through traditional publishers and the gatekeepers. You can just go straight from your computer to other people's Kindles, and they can be reading your book. And it's amazing. The other thing is that they want you to sell books, because the more books that you sell, the more money everybody makes. So they make money, you make money. So I really love Amazon. Yay, Kay! Okay. So, but now we're going to address this Amazon 30, 60, 90 day cliff. Okay. So as much as I love Amazon, and I do, you do have to work within their algorithms. So Amazon with their books have these algorithms, and nobody knows what they are for sure, but they've noticed this kind of pattern of when you release a book at one point, let's say at day 0 is when you release a book. And then if you release another one within 30 days, for that 30 days, your book has this traction that Amazon's sending people to it. And if you can release another book at the 30-day point, you keep the traction for both books. Okay. So it goes from 0 to 30. And then if you can't release a book in the 30 days, it goes down a little bit, and you get another 30 days at a lower level. And then it goes down another little bit after that, and you get down a little bit for that final 30 days. And at the 90 day, you drop off a cliff. Okay. Like you just disappear. So your book disappears. So that's why so many successful authors try to release their books quickly. You may have noticed. Has anybody noticed some people where you're like, how do they get a book out every month? That's crazy. Okay. Like, it's like, what are they doing? Well, I don't know exactly how. I know some people how they're doing it, but that's why they're doing it is what we're talking about here. Stacey's like, yeah, definitely. Deborah published in Amazon in February and has been going crazy trying to gain some kind of traction. The other thing that people have noticed is that the more these authors that are making it have noticed the more books you have out, the better your success is. So a lot of people write lots of books quickly. Okay, so here's how some people are doing it. There's a few different strategies that I've literally talked to the authors because I'm interviewing them on the podcast, and this is what some of them are doing. They'll write all the books in a series and then release them one after the other. So they'll like take 6 months off, they write all the books, get them all done, and then they release them one at a time. So they're not like, I write a book a week. Okay. Some people do write a book a month and release it. Okay. So they're like, bam, every month. Do. Some people will write the first draft of a book, send it to their editors. While the editors have their first book, they're working on the second book. And so they have this kind of in waves, they're releasing books, but it's not like, so it looks like they're coming out one every month or 6 weeks or so, but they aren't necessarily completing everything. They've just gotten a little ahead. And by the time you see it, it looks like every 6 weeks, even though each book took 2 to 3 months. Okay, because they just never stop the process. So I want you to guys know real quick that these people, they are right at this point, they are writing full time. So don't judge yourself. Don't try to compare yourself to them at this point, but it's good to know what they're doing so that you know what to aim for. Now, I know I'm talking about done in 3 months, so I want to kind of address some of the resistance to that right now, okay? This is not about writing your masterpiece. I know a lot of people are going to be like, but you can't really write a good book. This webinar should be less than an hour. Because I got a thing I want to go to. Not that I don't want to spend my whole evening with you guys, but it is Saturday. Okay, so it's not about writing your masterpiece. It's not about publishing terrible writing either. Some people are like, hey, how creative, how can it be any good if you're writing it really fast? Okay. And here's what I have to say. I'd say it's all about writing good books that your fans will love. I think that's a key thing that a lot of people kind of skip over. Yes, there will be a replay. Leah, thank you. It is a hot date. And I have purple lace undies on. Okay. Sorry. Lori, look at what you did. You distracted me. That your fans will love. Purple is clearly my color. Stop it. Back to business. And they do it fast. Okay. So somebody was saying on a different thing when I was talking about this, and they're like, well, I think you can either write good books fast, or you can write good books, or you can write it fast, but you can't do both. And there was some people liking it. And I was like, well, I'm not 100% that certain, because if I were to go out right now at the beginning of my exercise journey and run a mile, it would take me a long time, and it wouldn't necessarily be good. But the more you practice at something regularly, the faster you get and the better quality you get. So in 8 weeks, if I've been running a mile every day regularly, I'm going to be a heck of a lot faster, and it's going to be a better quality mile. So I think I want you guys to think about that and kind of dispel that, oh, I can't write a good book fast kind of resistance, because when you practice at something, anything really, anybody, if you've had anything that you've practiced at, you get better at it when you do it. So I think everybody has the capability to write books that your fans will love quickly with practice. There's other benefits to getting things done in 3 months. Okay. So some of the other benefits of doing this process quickly is discovering as quickly as possible what your fans love and want more of. Okay. So one of the authors that I talked to, he wrote books in one genre. He wrote 15 books in one genre and was getting, I think he said something like $50 to $100 per month, like on these books. I don't know the exact number, but it wasn't that much. He was like, okay, good. He just kept going, but then he changed genres and found out and then got this huge response because he found out what people actually wanted. And so the faster you're releasing these books, the faster you can find out what people will respond to and what they won't. And that brings you that much closer to creating your writing life. The other thing is, when you're saying, I'm going to get this book done in 3 months, you don't have time to overthink or worry about it, because you only have barely enough time to get stuff done. And I talked about some of this stuff in a live video, but have you guys ever procrastinated on something and you have 1 day left and you're like, shoot, I got to get this done. And then you magically are able to do it, even though you had 2 weeks to accomplish it? That's kind of what this done in 3 months is for your book, right? You don't have time to overthink or worry. You don't have time to let your critical or fear voices into your brain because you're like, I don't have time. That time worrying is time that I could be spending getting words down, right? The other thing is the more books that you put out, the faster you find your writing voice and style. Because that same author who took the 15 books, it was after a number of books that he's like, oh, this is how I write. This is my style. And it was able to come a lot more easily and flow naturally because he was like, I'm just putting that in there. And it was fun. And people really responded to it. But it takes a few books. You can't decide your voice in advance. That's just not, you only find your voice by completing books. You also get to take the fear out of formatting, releasing, and publishing. When you do it, the more you put them out, right? The whole process, the tech side of the process gets a lot easier and you're not scared about it because you've done it before. You've done it a bunch of times and it's no big deal anymore. So I had a lady who I interviewed and she's like, her latest book had come out, and in Europe, in England and Australia, Amazon put the wrong copy out and she was able to contact Amazon, fix it before the time change came to, before it got to release in the US, because she'd already done it a bunch of times. And she's like, it was no big deal. I knew I would just fix it. And I was messaging people like, yeah, Amazon messed up, but it was no big deal for her. It wasn't like, there was a little bit of a panic moment, but then it was gone because she'd done it before. You also get to discover your systems and what works best for you, right? You're like, okay, I know that I'm really good at this. And then, and I can do this part really fast, and I'm going to save some time for this part because it's not my strength, but then and you get to know what works for you. And the other benefit of doing it quickly is each book you release gets you closer and closer to creating the writing life of your dreams. So that was a lot of info in a little bit. So does anybody have any questions about what I've just said, or why I'm talking about done in 3 months? Rosalind says, what works best for me is a full-blown meltdown. Oh, no. Are you really? Is that really true? Okay. So now I'm going to give you a little bit of social proof from people that I've visited with on the podcast. So Russell Nolte, when I talked to him in April, he said, I set an intention or late last year that I'm going to write 18 books in 18 months. Sasha, go ahead and put the question and I'll get to it. Or if you want me to answer it later, there's a thing on the bottom that says questions, and you guys can put your questions in there, and that way it won't scroll through the chat and I won't miss it. Okay. So 18 books in 18 months. And I was like, whoa. And if you listen to episode 6, he actually talks about his, like, this week I do this week I do this week. He actually gives you the breakdown. But I'm just going to tell you guys that he knows about that 30, 60, 90-day clip, and he's trying to work the system. So he's like, I just set this intention because I want to get my name and brand and out there and do this thing. And so when I spoke to him in April, he was 5 books in, and he did agree to talk with us again after the 18 months so we could see how it went, which I thought was really exciting. Boop. The other person I talked to was Shannon Mayer, and she talked to me about releasing good books as quickly as possible, books that she knew her fans would like. So you guys can see, I went and I found a little screenshot of some of her books. You guys can see that in 2017, she released 5 books. And in 2018, at this point, she's released the first of the Desert Cursed books, the Order of Desert Cursed books. And the Aimless Witch is out for pre-order right now to be available later this month. So she's got 3 books done and 1 book coming out. And she's the one that I talked to that does the kind of wave release. So she's constantly have different books that are at different places, the editors, the beta readers, and then she just releases them, and you only see them on the customer side as coming out like, dang, she's writing fast. And she is, but she knows her customers really well, and she talks about that. finally, Jonathan Yanez, who many of you guys, if you haven't listened to this episode, you have to. He's adorable. He's also a model, which you can kind of tell because, like, I remember seeing his picture and I was like, whoa. But he's got a wife and she is also adorable. So, so I was like, oh, they're so cute. Anyways, I love it when married couples are adorable and they love each other and they're working together. So you can see I took this screenshot from Amazon, but the dates were tiny, so I wrote them over here for you guys. He released a 4-book series in 2018. The first one came out March 15th, second one March 22nd, third was on April 5th, and on the fourth one was May 31st. Okay, so he's one of the ones who they wrote them in advance, and then they planned the releases very specifically for these dates. But you can see they're doing it all to take advantage of that 30, 60, 90. And I believe if you look at the numbers, that this March 15th and the May 31st are within 90 days of each other because they stretched that last one out. They did it very tactically, that last one out to make sure that their first book in the series got a bump, right? A bump back up. They're trying to maintain within that having Amazon keep pushing their books without having it go down into the dip. Okay. So Craig Martell, the guy from the 20 books to 50K, he told me, love each of your stories the same and tell the ones that people are buying. Okay. So I did interview him. He's another one on the podcast, but he said this and I was like, that is really smart because I know a lot of people are like, but what about my art? And it's like, yes, you don't have to love one of your stories more than the other, but go ahead and tell the ones that are going to sell. And that's kind of the people will love that I'm talking about. Write stories that people will love. And sometimes it takes a little while to find out which ones that is, but once you do, tell those ones. Okay. So, how do you actually do it? How do you do the done in 3 months? Okay, so I didn't want to start you guys out with like let's release a book every month. But with this plan, you could start getting, let's try to make it within that 90 days and release 4 books in a year, right? So what you do is you start weeks 1 through 6, you outline and draft. And that's what you're doing in the 1 through 6. You set ahead of time. You're like, okay, I want my novel to be this many words. So I'm going to set some goals. And if I want it to be 60,000 words, and I've got 6 weeks to write, then I got to write 10,000 words a week. And that does math down to so many words a day. And that's what I'm working on. Okay. And so this is what we have. So the first 6 weeks, you've got outline and plan, and then you've got writing. In weeks 7 through 9, we have revising. So you put everything in order, take out the bad bits, and add some more good bits. And then weeks 10 through 12, you've got beta readers, formatting, and release. So we've given you 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks to get that technical stuff done, make some final revisions, and copy edit and make it really pretty. On the marketing side, I decided to keep it simple, super duper simple, 1 task per week, because you guys know me. I am all about marketing as you write. Plus, I'm the marketing person. So I'm like, what's the point? What's the point of writing the book if you don't have anybody who's going to buy it at the end? So I don't want you to just forget about it, but one a week, I think you guys can handle. So does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have any questions about how you would go about doing the done in 3 months? And if you see the writing the first draft is in the first 6 weeks. So while you've sent it to people to revise, while you've sent it to beta readers and you're doing this other more technical stuff, you can see how if you started your next book, the first draft of your next book, you could start having a book release in those waves. every so often. Any questions? Any questions, you guys? Okay. The thing you guys noticed I had outlined in the first week, you're going to have to plan. Like every single person I talked to had some kind of plan. Every indie author that was doing well had some kind of plan at some point. Okay, so they knew the basic plot and characters and the arc of the book in advance. They knew exactly how many words that they had to write each week, and they knew where and when they were going to make the time to write. So have you ever gone to the grocery store without a list? And you waste time, you get extra stuff. You're like, I can't remember what I got to do. And you end up buying stuff that you don't even need. And you forget important stuff that you get home and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot the toilet paper. And you're like, but I needed toilet paper. We really needed it. I guess we're using paper towels for a couple days. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it is when you're starting a writing project without a plan. And it doesn't have to be exact. You'll find out what works for you. One of the ladies I talked to, she outlines the first half of the book, and then the second half, she she goes with the flow. So it doesn't have to be like the whole thing. You have this, but you do have to kind of know. Okay. You're gonna have to commit to make this work, to make it to be done in 3 months. It's not like you can't just kind of be willy-nilly about it. You have to commit 100%. And that means taking action. Okay. Write those words and do what you said you're going to do. Okay. Be in integrity by keeping your word to yourself. Now, a lot of people, especially women, we have a hard time. We have a hard time because people tell us, because we want to take care of everybody else. And usually when that happens, there's something that we've said, oh, I want to do that later today. And then we give that up so that we can help somebody else. And when you do that, you're not in integrity with yourself, and your own self somehow stops trusting you, because so many times you've said, hey, self, this is important to me and I'm going to do it. I'm looking at myself, my heart. You say so many times, you say, hey, I'm going to do this later today. And then when you stop, that like little tender, courageous part of you that really wants to be expressed, you've betrayed it essentially. And it makes it harder and harder to bring that part of you to the front, when it knows that every time or often enough you're going to not do what you say you're going to do. So in order to do this, everybody that I talk to is like, this is what I'm committed to, and when I say to myself, I'm going to do this, I do it. Does anybody have that? Has anybody had that that kind of, do you know what I'm talking about with that kind of lack of integrity with yourself? I remember I got into a bad spot with that one time, and I really had to baby step build my integrity in myself, one tiny little baby step at a time. Okay, you have to keep choosing yourself and your book. Okay, you have to keep choosing yourself and your book over other things sometimes, because you are deserving, and you have to love yourself enough to not only complete the book, but take care of yourself while you're doing it. And I found this little picture. If some of you guys are ladies with kids, give your kids to your hubby and have that happen. Haha, it's okay to have a messy house. When you're dying, or when you've passed on, or when you're old and sick, you're not going to look back and be like, I really wish I had cleaned the house that one time instead of completing my book. That is never going to happen. That is never, ever going to happen. Okay, finally, you're going to have to set yourself up for success. Of course, you can do it alone, but will you do it alone? We all know that you're capable. But will you do it yourself? So that's why I say, do what you can to stack the deck in your favor. Right? So get some community, get some accountability. Like these are the things that make it easier for you to get that, to set yourself up for success and make sure that you have it done in 3 months. Get some people who can tell you, hey, yes, yes, there will be. Yeah, get some people who are like, hey, you've never set your thing up for pre-order, but I have, and I can help walk you through it. Because that's a very intimidating part of the process, is putting your book up for pre-order. It's very intimidating, but when you have somebody who's done it before and they're like, it's no big deal, let me show you, makes it a lot easier. And then finally, set a deadline, and then the final slide, the final bullet point, which says something when you need it, which I can't see because it's behind my face. It's okay. It's okay. Wait. Feedback. That's a good one. That's a good one. Give you feedback about how you're doing and how they can help you do better. 12 weeks from now, when you've set yourself up for success and you've got your book coming out, we're having a book party. Book party! Book release party! Okay. Okay, so now I'm kind of transitioning to the Done in 3 Months program, you guys. The Done in 3 Months program has all those things that I just talked about. The Done in 3 Months program helps you make a plan. It keeps you committed to your authoring, and it sets you up with everything you need to be successful, to complete that book in 3 months. We have live weekly accountability calls. We're following that 12-week calendar that I just showed you a little bit ago, and we have a tracking spreadsheet. Okay, because you don't have to do it alone. Like I said, there's a weekly accountability call. Every week, we're going to get together on the phone, and we're going to say, here's what I did. Here's how many words. Here's how many words I completed. Because at the beginning of the whole program, we're going to say, okay, this is how many words I want to complete. This is how many. We're going to have somebody come in and help us with our planning. Lori, help us with our planning and make sure that we have what we need to make this happen. Each week, we're going to get on the call and we're going to share our wins and say, hey, you guys, this week I did this, or this happened. And I can tell you, I've been in some, I don't know if you guys know what masterminds are. But I've been in some masterminds, and I can't not even tell you how encouraging and motivating it is to have, to hear other people's success stories where you're all trying to do the same thing. And they're like, this happened. When you do it, it works. It is so motivating. We will also set intentions. We're going to be like, okay, this is what happened this week. This is what I'm doing next week. And we are going to track your progress. Okay, so you're going to know I have this spreadsheet. This is the spreadsheet. This is the exact screenshot of the spreadsheet we're going to use, where each person you can see maybe over here. We'll all have our names there. We'll have our goal number of words, and then spreadsheet will be set up so you put the word count in, your word count total, and then your marketing task. And at the end of the month, and there's 3 different tabs. So each month has, and you'll get your percentage word count of goal. So it's like, you guys know that tracking is one of the things that people say is the best thing for them to keep their writing going. You will also have support from your fellow Done in 3 monthers, and you're going to have even more support. Okay. In the program, besides the accountability, we are also having weekly guest experts to help with planning, writing, finding and engaging with your ideal readers, revising and editing, formatting, and putting your book up for pre-order, building a launch team, and more. Every week on the live call, we will have a guest expert who is going to help you do that thing that week that's going to be nervous. Yeah, when I searched in Google for professional man for an image for this, Chris Hemsworth came up. And so I was like, okay, that's the one. That's the one. But he is not, you can see my little asterisk. Chris Hemsworth is not one of the guest experts. And as far as I know, does not support or endorse Done in 3 Months in any way. but I'll take Chris Hemsworth as a professional any day. Okay. So, as an indie author, whether you fail or succeed is on your shoulders. And personally, I love that. A professional panty dropper. I know. Whew, man. I'm not going to drift off into fantasy right now, but let's say that there could be a book around that. Okay, anyways. So whether you fail or succeed is on your shoulders, and personally, I love that. And I wanted you guys to have, like, this is Shannon Mayer, and she is busting these books out. And she is working, and she used to be a farrier. She would help people shoe their horses and stuff and take care of that kind of stuff. She always wanted to be a writer. And now she's living her dream life of being a writer. And she's professional about it. It's not just sitting around in your chair looking out the window and daydreaming. It's like real getting her stuff done. But she does get to spend her time creating worlds that people love. And whether you fail or succeed is all on you these days. You don't have to go worry about whether the gatekeepers and traditional publishers are going to help you. It's on you. So if you do it, great. If you don't do it, that's what happens. and I love that because I'm in that situation right now. Okay, so the program, the Done in 3 Months program, starts on June 25th. And yes, today is June 23rd. It starts on Monday. Okay. It starts on Monday. And here are some little testimonials from people who are in my Author Boss Academy and who have already signed up, but who've already worked with me before and are really excited to be doing this with you. Okay, so we already have a bunch of people who are in it, and you can join them. And I can tell you guys from experience that these people are amazing to work with. So Richard's like, I'm all in. I've been wrestling with learning the details for several months. Cecilia's like, I signed up today. I really reassessed my goal date for releasing my first book and decided on September. Cecilia and I were in a mind meld here. Like, we were on our own thing, but it was meant to be, right? Lloyd was like, I need to knuckle down and get my first book done. Excited to take part with everyone. I am so excited to have Lloyd here. It's going to be awesome. So, and I guess here's a good time to say this. Even if you don't get your book done in 3 months, because this is something that I have a tendency to do. I like to do this. I didn't used to, but now I do. I like to set goals that make me nervous. Tell me if this makes sense to you guys. I like to set goals that make me nervous. And then I try to reach them. And if I do or I don't reach them at the end, I'm kind of okay with it because I know that I've in the trying to accomplish that goal, I have done 200 or 300 times better than I would have done without any goal at all. So, like, when I said I wanted to start a podcast, I set a certain date. I'm like, I'm going to start a podcast. It's going to be up by this date. Well, it didn't end up being up by that exact date. It was up like 3 or 4 days later. So I didn't meet my goal. But I had it up 3 or 4 days later. And if I hadn't had the goal, then I definitely probably wouldn't have even had it up for another 2 or 3 months. So if you're like, oh, I like this done in 3 months, but I don't know that it's even possible for me, think about all the benefits that you'll get because of the momentum and the intentions that you'll have. And even if it takes you 4 or 5 months, it's still a lot faster than the 6, 7, or 8 months than it might have taken you before. I'm not saying that's true for everybody. I'm just saying it's a way to think about things. Set the intention, do your best to meet it, If you don't, you're still way further ahead than you would have been. Okay, so now we're getting to the nitty-gritty details of the done in 3 months. Now, I was like, done in 3 months. How should I price this thing? And it's absolutely like it's got weekly accountability calls, live accountability calls with guest experts who are going to be coming in and giving you amazing information. I was like, 12 weeks of really great calls. That's worth a lot. And it is. But there's a lot of work to creating this stuff on the back end. There's a lot of work creating this stuff on the back end, okay? So I was like, this is worth $549, but I already have the Author Boss Academy set up and it's available in the Author Boss Academy. So for all Academy members, it's already available. It starts on June 25th. So I thought, what if I just invited people to join the Academy for the 3 months of the Done in 3 months? So the Academy and the Done in 3 months program, you can get it for 3 monthly payments of $59. So 59, 59, 59. And then at that point, if you're done, you can just reach out to me and be like, okay, I loved it. I'll see you later. My book is out. And so that's the price, 3 monthly payments of $59 with for the all of those 12 weeks of live calls, guest experts, and support. Plus, since you're in the Academy, you get all the Author Boss Academy goodies. Okay, so there's a lot of other things happening in the Academy besides this Done in 3 months program. We have additional weekly live calls. So there's a live call every Saturday where you have the option to go into a deep dive and have one-on-one coaching with professional coaches on the subject of writing, marketing and mindset, and tech and formatting. We have somebody you could submit a deep dive and have your one-on-one coaching during the live calls on Saturday mornings. We also have monthly Q&As with guest authors that I've interviewed on the podcast. So we have somebody coming on the 28th of June, a professional author who is coming in and doing a Q&A specifically just for the Academy, only for Academy members. And we have somebody coming in July as well. Really exciting. I'm really excited about that. And that is only for Academy members, will never be available to anybody else but Academy members. We've got tutorials and worksheets. We've got a private Facebook group with a ton of amazing people, a lot of them who I see here tonight, who I love dearly. And we have occasional wine and writing events that don't get publicized in the big group because we just don't. So because we don't think about it because we've had a little bit of wine. That's why. Okay. But those are really fun. Plus there's a lot more. Plus you get there's so much support. Lori, yes, somebody does get way too drunk. Lori, I see you. Okay. The other thing I'm just telling you as a way, and this is my part of my accountability, is I'm going to be doing it with you. I'm doing the program with you. I actually have 2 books I'm working on. I'm more than halfway through the first draft of the marketing book that I'm writing for you guys. And I set myself up and have publicly stated this a number of times that I joined a book launch party in August for Reverse Harem. And I haven't written a word yet, but I am going to finish my marketing book and then write the first draft of this Reverse Harem book by August so that I can be in this launch party for somebody else's book and have something there to send people to. Yes, I'm doing it with you. We will all be doing it together. It's going to be so exciting. Oh. Okay. And if you don't think I feel nervous, I can tell you I do. I absolutely am like, how am I going to get all this stuff done? But nervous, excited. Excited, nervous. And usually that means it's a good thing. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? I'm going to kind of scroll down on my screen so I can see if there's any questions here. Okay, Lasasha says they send the first draft to the editor. They don't self-edit first and send their second or third draft. No, they send their first draft. Now, maybe when they were starting out, maybe they did do some extra edits, but now that they've done it for a while, a couple of things. They know what their ideal readers want. They've been writing enough books and long enough that they don't have to revise and edit very much anymore because they know what their intention is, and because they've practiced doing it quite a bit, they don't have to it's not that hard. Like, they don't have to keep revising. Also, the third thing is they've typically outlined. So the outline makes sure that they follow the story format and that they are having something that hits all the spots that readers want. So no, they send their first draft to the editor and then they make revisions, and they're like, and the revisions usually take 2 or 3 or 4 days, you know? And that's partially why I want to push us to do it like done in 3 months. And we've given ourselves lots of time, but the faster, like if we write 4 books this year each, and then next year it won't take 3 months. It'll take maybe 2.5 months, and you get faster and faster the more you practice. Lori says, how long are their books usually? And we're looking at about, the guy who's doing, Mark is answered. The guy who's doing the 18 books in 18 months, his books are shorter. They're 40,000 words, but the rest of them are about 70,000. Okay. Yep. KT Strange, who is coming to talk to us in July, she just had her books come out, and I don't know if you guys listen to the podcast, but she's like, I told myself I had to have that book out within a month, and she's trying to make them about 80,000 words. She's had a heck of a lot going on in her life, but yes, it's doable. 70 to 80 is absolutely a doable and reasonable goal. Yep. And we have, and Lori, who's going to help us with the planning, will give us those exact numbers on how many words we have to complete to be able to reach that. If we're just starting out and haven't had many sales, how can we tell what our readers want? Aha, that's a very excellent question. And that's part of why you need to start getting books out faster, because but that's one thing. The faster you get your books out, the easier it's going to it'll be to tell what your readers want. But the other thing is, if you have a specific genre, I was talking to somebody and I said, hey, do you read other books in your genre? And she's like, not as much. What I do is I read the reviews of other books in my genre, and I find out what people really, really love, and I find out what they don't like, and I try to work those things into my story or not. And so that's if you have a book that you really, really like in your genre, go read their reviews, see what the people are like. Oh my gosh, I loved this about this book, and appropriate. And then the things that people are like, I hated this about that book, make sure you don't put that in your story. And that will really, really help you to make a high quality story that people will really enjoy because you've been listening to them and paying attention. Okay. Does that make sense? DL8895. Okay. What if a book requires a certain amount of research? What I say there is to put that into your revising. So, bust that first draft out as fast as you can. And then during the revising, when you're not so dependent upon getting the words done, like you're like, I need this many words. Blah, blah, blah. When you're revising, you have time, because we put 3 weeks in for revising in there. So that's when you can be like, you know what? I put the scene in there that has the police officer doing such and such thing. I need to know if that's true. Go do your research. and find that out when you're revising, not when you're drafting. Do I have scholarships? Not at this time. In the future, I hope to, but it depends honestly on how many people start signing up. So, okay. Are there any other questions? You guys could put them here in the question section. You can put them in the chat. And I wanted to do a couple more things. I wanted to say this quote, which I just love so much, from Jonathan Yanez. And if you haven't, please go listen to his podcast. It will make you want to write, and it will make you want to, and he's just so gentle about it, but so straightforward. He says, either you're going to give up because you don't think you can do it, or it's going to get done. And that was so profound. Lasasha, I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea. I guess because he didn't sign up himself. Okay, so either you're going to give up or you don't. And if you don't give up, it will eventually get done. And I love that so much. Okay, I love that because it's like, it's all on you. But if you don't give up, then eventually it will happen. And that's kind of one of my philosophies. I don't give up. It's one of the things about me is I'm like, I don't give up. And if I don't ever give up, eventually something will happen, even if that means working really hard or trying new things or doing different things. It'll happen because it'll happen. So I encourage you guys to think about that when you're considering joining Done in 3 months. And you can sign up at authorlikeaboss.com/monthly, or if you look down and you click on the offers tab. Oh, there's another question. If you click on the offers tab, you can see there's an offer. Sign me up. And that offer will take you right to the place where you can sign up and join the Academy. Garnell says, what about books which require a lot of world building? Somebody in the Academy shared a video recently about world building. It was a couple weeks ago, but basically what they said was pick a book that you've already read and are familiar with, and that's similar to your world that you want to create, and use their rules plus the couple of quirky things, plus the things that you've added for your own. So that's what they were like, hey, that's how we get these books done fast, is by having the rules from another world already there, plus the couple that we've changed. So whenever we have to make that choice about, oh, how do we do this in our world? You already know, because there's a whole world system already built up and you just have to follow it. And so that's what that guy, I don't remember who that was. I think it might have been Chris Fox, who I'm interviewing for the podcast next week. So you guys, if you want to sign up and join the Academy and participate in Done in 3 months, I am very, very excited to have you here, and hope that you guys can see the value in what we're doing and know how much fun we're going to have together. And are there any other questions? Garnell, did I answer your question? I hope that worked for you. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you. Okay, good, Garnell. These are the kind of questions that I answer on my weekly live call, on the live calls in the Academy, so that we can help you to get your stuff done successfully. I help with the marketing side. One-on-one. I hope to see you all in the academy. People, if you're watching this on a replay, it does start on Monday, so you can sign up tonight. You can sign up on Sunday, or you can sign up on Monday, early Monday. But that's it. Then it's done because then it's done. Then we're starting. So you've got 2 days to sign up, and that's the deal, you guys. So I hope to see you guys on Monday at the first Done in 3 Months, and then I hope to see you on Thursday when we talk to our first professional author, or do the Q&A with our author coming in on Thursday on the 28th. Yes. So, and then we've got a live call marketing on Saturday. You could have all this, all this fun. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate you being here. I hope you've had a good time too. I hope I answered all of your questions, and that you now feel like you can do and write and complete a book in 3 months. Done in 3 months, you guys, is going to be our motto for the next 3 months. Yes. Okay. Talk to you later, you guys. Bye.